Good Sunday. It's not Sunday, it's Saturday. Good Saturday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. How you doing? Guess what time it is? It's time to talk a little sports with your sports guy, Kendrick, the sports guy. Good Saturday afternoon. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. And this is a very special show, very special live stream today. And it's going to be a little informative to you for all you parents that have high school athletes. We're going to talk a little bit about the process of recruiting. And for those athletes that may not be 5, 4, and 3-star athletes, how do you get a scholarship and how do you get yourself out there? We're going to talk to someone that's very near and dear to me. But before I bring her on, I got to talk about this Wi-Fi connection I got. And I gotta tell it right now. Wi-Fi, we got a woman of God on. I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna need her to pray for you today. Make sure there ain't no buffering, and make sure I don't cuss because you buffering. Because I gotta watch my language, because I got a woman of God on. Doggone it, jive turkey. Now you make sure you behave, because we got a guest in the house. But anyway, before we bring her in, make sure you come in, like, subscribe to the channels if you haven't already done so. Those channels are Kendrick Sports Hustle, that's SportzHustle, as well as TFG Sports Media on YouTube. So you follow them both on Facebook as well, and you can follow me personally on Facebook, Kendrick Roline Henderson. And if you're on TikTok, but we gonna make this show happen. It's gonna happen. The devil is a lie, as my late mother would say, and as the Reverend Stimpson and Mother Stimpson would say as well. The devil is a lie. Speaking of the Stimpson, I got a Stimpson on, one of my very best friends from the John Tyler High School.
Woo!
We go way back.
D.
My very,
yes.
very beautiful sister. I love her. Miss Lori Stimpson-Arteaga is with me. How you doing, my good friend? How you doing, sister?
I'm doing good, but you messed me up. I wanted my cam hat. I wanted my scarf. You said no. I wanted my theme music. I feel I'm cheating myself.
We're not having none of that on here.
This was my moment, Kendrick. This was my moment.
And it still is your moment. And it still is. You should have came on with it. I wasn't gonna stop you. You should have came on with it.
I've known you a long time. You're not about foolishness. Yeah, you're not. You hear
me already talking to this Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I hope we got some buffering issues.
It happens.
We're gonna get through this though. Again, go ahead. I'm listening.
And not only is it buffering, but our grandson is still here. So he's running around here. And now all of a sudden he wants my undivided attention. Any other day, I'm like the plague. Okay. I'm like COVID. He doesn't want to be around me.
But I know that's how it works. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's a handsome young man too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. This is our eldest son's little boy, and he is a pleasure. Well, having grandkids, just right. They are a joy and a blessing. They
definitely are. Well, we're gonna get to it again. Make sure you come in, like, subscribe, follow me here on Kendrick Sports Hustle, as well as my personal page and TFG Sports Media. Then we're gonna talk later on, once we get through, we're gonna talk about her entrepreneur business, because I want to get that some publicity too. We're gonna talk about that later.
I should have had my hat on.
You really should have. Do you have? I wish you would have had some of your stuff.
I said, go get my hat.
Right. Okay, they got time. You have someone to bring some.
No. I'm still I'm still stuck on trying to dress like Cam. I'm like, go get my hat.
No, we ain't doing no Cam. I done told you already. We ain't, you ain't gonna be looking like no Cam
Okay,
Newton up
let,
here.
let me stop. Okay.
I done told you.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
This was an idea that to me that I thought was a very good one. And I don't think a lot of sports podcasters or sports media personalities really talk about team sports in the recruiting process. I just want Lori, just tell me what's your sense of why do you think this information and this need to be talked about?
That's a most excellent question. The reason I think this is important because, as you know, our son is a senior and he plays soccer. And a lot of times, in order for you to get the exposure, in order for your child to get the exposure that they need, they really do need to join or play a club, play for a club, or play for a team. And what a lot of parents don't realize, and again, I'm just being real transparent because this is a lot of stuff that I learned, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much still learning it, and started learning it when he was going into high school. So a lot of what I say is really geared towards the parents of kids who are going into high school, those that
Mm-hmm.
are in high school, or those that are seniors, if that makes any sense. So uh,
Gotcha.
our youngest has been playing soccer since he was like 4. So you have rec soccer, recreational sports, and then you have the club, elite, etc. So from the time he was in elementary, we were unaware. We thought, recreational soccer, we thought that was just it. But then we started
Mm-hmm.
noticing like the level of play, there was a lot of flexibility in the rules, if that makes any sense. So when he got to high school, the goal, we were putting a lot of our attention towards coaches, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Yeah.
thinking, we'll say Legacy is a 6A, and they only take 20 students in soccer, 20 students or athletes per team. So you have freshman, JV, and senior or varsity. So they're only taking 60 of who they consider the best of the best,
Gotcha.
because it's very competitive. And that's really how it is also at Tyler High. So a lot of the kids that you see out there, they are to a certain extent the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter, like if you're a senior and you're on a JV team. While when we were at John Tyler, that was you didn't want to be a senior on a
Right.
team,
JV. Mm-hmm.
but because you're at a 6A school, you've beat out hundreds of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you're on the team, you can be on varsity, you can be on JV, you can be on a freshman team. There's really no guarantee that you're going to be playing consistently on that team. It
Mm-hmm.
just depends
Right.
on the coaches. So those are things that we didn't know going in. So in
Mm-hmm.
order for a lot of the athletes to get the exposure that they need, because I'm just going to be real transparent, coaches, they have their favorites,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
they have their
Mm-hmm.
favorites, and they make you very aware of that. So they have their favorites. They also sometimes, unfortunately, in a lot of the high school sports that you just, not necessarily soccer, but just a lot of those sports, the coaches, they bend over backward for the wealthy and affluent. So if
That's
you have a
facts. Yeah.
yeah, so if you have a kid, if your father is making money, Mr. Tyler, lawyer, doctor, or what have you, then their kid may not be as good as your kid, but it's that power struggle through adults, if that makes sense. So your child, if you have a child that's going into high school and they have just been playing recreational, if they make it and try out, and I encourage every parent to let their child try out for high school sports. But if they make it, just understand, unless they are at the top tier, they are not. They need to play. If they want to play on the next level, they really do. They need to play for a club team. Now, I don't know how football works, but football is its own little animal. Okay, it's a
Right.
beast.
Yeah.
Okay?
Totally different. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
totally
Right.
different.
Right.
So I'm speaking to the parents of kids who play soccer, lacrosse, tennis, like those highly specialized types of sports that are gaining in popularity. If they want to play on the college level, there's no way that they cannot play club in order to get recruited, because it loops back to what I said. A lot of the coaches, high school coaches, they are just they're just paying. Hold on.
No, you
Go tell
fine.
Papa, blow your nose. Go quickly. Oh yeah, we said, yeah, go, don't touch me. Go tell Papa. Go quick.
Hey, little man.
Papa. Yeah. Hey, tell Grant to come here too. But so that's what we started learning around his junior year. That well, he's played club. He started out rec, and then he played, I think it was classic league, and then he plays, I think now I play premier or elite or what have you. So coaches, Kendrick, it's not like back in the day where the coaches were calling around and they had those networks and connections. Nah, you pretty much, for the coaches, they're just making film. Now they're not editing it. They're just sharing a link. Hey, you want to be on the show?
And I'm
No,
glad I'm glad you're going there, Lori, because that's where I was going to go next about creating a highlight reel. How we are in a social media world now, and I think that in any sport. Hey, Grant,
look,
I see you. I see you.
Look at him trying to rep. I didn't tell him.
Okay. Yeah, no, but and this is who Lori, Miss Arteaga, is talking about, her son Grant, who's a soccer player. But my question is about creating this highlight reel. Again, we live in a social media world now. How important is it for parents to get footage of their child and make sure you're sending it and posting it to different type of websites that these coaches can see your child?
Well, Grant will have to speak to that, because that's what he does. But I'm saying as a parent, do not go in there thinking that after your son or daughter makes the team, that you cannot put all of your trust and your faith in your high school coaches, because they're just making film for everybody, right? And then they just send a link, and it's up to your athlete to go in
grab
and, like
that
you
link
say,
and
edit
his own. Okay,
right, create his own. They're not doing that at schools anymore, unless like football, and basketball, that's different.
Yeah.
But so you have that, but then you have like the club team, and you pay. These fees are crazy, Kendrick. You pay a what is it, deposit? I don't know if it's called a deposit, but you pay a registration fee. That may be $250. Then you pay anywhere from $150 to $300 or $400 a month, depending on the team and the level of play. That's not including uniforms. That's not including travel, hotel, showcase fees. That's not including tournament fees. So you're paying all of these fees, and part of that monthly fee is a subscription to a video service. So your kids are getting, so that's what I'm saying. Your kids, even though they're videoing at school, if your child is not a part of a club or certain sports, they're not and they're playing
They're not.
7, 8 minutes. That's not enough
They're not
film.
gonna. That's not
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, I was gonna say
right.
that's not enough.
It's not
Yeah.
enough for
Yeah.
you to create a reel. So that's really why with the recruiting process. Oh, you can say something. You know.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
So that's
I
what.
was gonna ask. I was going to ask Grant, Lori, real quick. So, what has the process been for you from the athletic perspective? Obviously, your parents, your mom is speaking from her perspective. What has the recruiting process or trying to get recruited process been for you?
I'd say it's more about it kind of starts in middle school because I went to a charter school, so I couldn't really get seen in middle school for high
Mm-hmm.
school. So that kind of put me at a disadvantage my freshman year. So I went to Legacy my freshman year, but I didn't go summer practice, and they had already seen coaches before me. So I mean, I was a little bit late on that, so that put me at a disadvantage. And I mean, I still kind of see it to this day. I'm not really the number one option. I'm more like a later option, and it's kind of it's not really good that way.
I see. I
But
see.
you
So,
remember,
Lori, go ahead. Go ahead, Lori.
I was going to say it loops back to what I said earlier about
Yeah,
they
that's what I was going
know
to ask you. Yeah.
they already got their, yeah,
They've
they
already
already,
got their picks. Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
they've
I know
got
what you
their
mean.
picks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
But
how do you overcome that? What steps have you guys tried to overcome that?
Well, I mean, for me, my mom would tell me to talk to the coaches, and yeah, I think talking to a coach is a big part in that, asking what you can do. And there are some times when it will work. You can put all that work in, but there's sometimes you do put all the work in, it still doesn't lead to anything, and that's not really a good note on the high school stuff. Yeah.
I think as like when he said,
Mm.
I've told him, we respect the coaches, we respect them, but I'm just saying, as a parent, you got to put your child, you got to find a club or a team that you can afford independent of school, because what happens in club teams, it's more specialized. They have more specialized coaches. Sometimes the coaches that are coaching a lot of the different sports, even for football, they've never played on the level that you're trying to aspire to.
Right.
So if you're trying to play, if your goal is to play for a D1 or a D2, and you ask your coach, or you Google your coach, and they never played that sport, then sometimes they take that as a challenge when you say, hey, what can I do? Or hey, again, it's just different. But as a parent, what I've done is we've just made sure that we've kept him in club teams, and work with specialized coaches, and just trust the process. We've also become more informed, as far as it's not 1987 and 1990 anymore. It's
Right.
not that. It's a different, it's everything is going to cost you money. And the relationships that when you and I went to school, we'll say back then, John Tyler, they had connections with A&M, Austin, SMU, they had all the, now you pretty much, if you want to get recruited, now I don't know how football works, because like I said, that's a whole different animal, but soccer, tennis, and lacrosse, those sports, if you want to get recruited, you've got to take the bull by the horns for yourself. You've got to make your own film. You've got to reach out to those email the coaches for the schools that you want to attend. You got to go to some of their summer programs. You've got to reach out to people who have played the sport. And we've been very blessed in that, as people of faith, we just trust, hey, he's going to end up wherever God wants him to be. But having that mindset as a parent, and I got to be religious, Kendrick, but as a parent, trusting the process and the plan that God has for his life, God has placed people in his life that have played seriously, professionally in the sport, all over, all over the world. So he's had, he has contacts to talk to those people who know people that can say,
Right.
hey, he sends the film, hey, work on this, work on that. But it is a different, it's a different animal. And unfortunately, I think for me, like our child is very dedicated. I mean, my biggest prayer
Yeah.
is that, Lord, if soccer is not the plan, help him to be comfortable with the
Right.
if that's not the plan. But
Right.
sometimes some parents, some kids are really, really good, and the coaches put a lot of attention towards the ones that they really like. And some of them are, they are good. But when you talk to the kid, and they're not trying to go to the next level. They're
They
gonna
just
learn
want to
a
play.
trade. They just
Hmm.
they're right now. All they wanted was a letterman. And you and I know, having lettermans,
Right.
get out of high school, ain't nobody thinking about
Yeah.
that for Lori. you know?
Right. And I don't even know where my Letterman jacket is. So yeah, I know what you're talking about on that. For real.
Yeah.
Let me ask you all this. Does the division, because I was reading up on some stuff, and D1 and D2 and D3 are totally different animals in itself when it comes to athletic scholarships.
Mhm.
Have you guys approached it differently and just trying to, do you look at those different? I guess I should say, because we know D3 is there's they don't offer athletic scholarships. So do
Mhm.
you actually try to even get a D3 college to even look at you, even though you know they don't offer athletic scholarships?
I'll let him answer that, then I'll give you the parent perspective.
I'd say you always want to aim for D1. I'd say the difference between D1 and D2 is definitely like, I wouldn't say it's really a sport, because you're still going to face a lot of good players. It's just the school basically, like the weight room, the field, stuff like that. And I'd say D3
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not bad to go to D3, but it's just not where you want to be if you want to take it to the next level. That's really all I can say about that. I haven't really like
Yeah,
looked into the D3 and D1 levels. I've just looked at the colleges I'd like to go to.
got you.
And and
Okay.
and you know what? And that's my fault, Kendrick, because being a person of faith, like I said, if God, if that's the plan, Jeremiah 29:11, if that's the plan that God has for his life, it's gonna work like clockwork. So
Mm-hmm.
what I have always been adamant with all of our children, this is, although our eldest son plays soccer and football, he was just he could have been good, he could have been
Yeah.
great, but he was just out there, he wasn't
Right.
interested. But this is a different breed right here. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always said to him, we trust God for you trust the plan. He'll give you the process. He'll put you where you need to be. But in saying that, I've always made sure that my children have you don't have to earn straight A's. Okay, you don't have to earn straight A's, because as an educator, I know sometimes in that area they teachers just like you. The work may be too easy, or because your parent is who your parent is. But he's always kept his grades up. A's, B's. It's never been, are you passing? It's never been. It's so usually players that are playing in those three different sports I mentioned, their grades are all, they're going to college anyway. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do good things anyway. But I've always told them, keep your grades up, keep your GPA, at a 3.7, as high as you possibly can, because we'll say, even if you don't get into, or you don't get an athletic scholarship to a D1, because now they are competitive, once again, because the transfer portal. So
And the
you
NIL, yeah, that's
and the
changed the game.
NIL, so you
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of D1 level players that are now playing in D2 that have bumped the D2s down to D3s. But when you look at those different levels, a lot of those kids, they're not maintaining their grades. They've never taken college classes. They're just there to go pro. So I've always told them, keep your grades up, and that way, we'll say Rice. Who knows? You apply to go to Rice, and you
Right.
get admitted. Go and you try out, and maybe be a walk on or something like that. Because at the end of the day, if that's the plan God has for your life, you're gonna play.
Yeah.
But academically, that's something that's a whole other level too. That you got to stress to your child to keep your grades up and work on their character. And when I say work on their character, I haven't had this problem with this one. Okay. Where he's very responsible and all of those. And so I this is a different breed right here, Kendrick.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, I know. I remember. Little,
You
he
get,
ain't little Grant no more. He's not little Grant no more.
but yeah, but that's what I think. I think when parents and kids are trying to get recruited, especially when they're in high school, the bulk of the responsibility it rests with you. So what we've talked about, I've said to him, hey, give me 5 schools. What are your top 5? And then your top 3 and your top 5, and then go in and look academically to see, can you get in? And then look at those sports programs and your major. What do you want to do? What kind of life? And I never ask my kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? I never asked that before I asked them the question, what kind of life do you want to live? When you reach a certain age, when you're 56, like me, well, what kind of life do you want to be? Struggling, hustling? Because answering that question is going to put the bulk of their success, the bulk of the responsibility for their success on them. Because we're providing the opportunities for success. But if you don't know, are you uncomfortable? But if you don't know what you want to do, and then it helps us, because again, like it's everybody's dream. I think he said it's everybody's dream to play D1, and we're not saying that that's not gonna happen, but if that happens, it's because we've got to exert the energy, because you can't put it all on the coaches. They're going home. They're riding a retirement train. Some of them it's just different. It's a different animal.
Yeah.
And I hope I don't get repercussions for what I say about this, but and I'm sure you can attest to this. It just seems like sometimes if your son or daughter is coming from a nuclear family, where it's with a solid father, solid mother, solid socioeconomic, upper middle class, whatever, the coaches sometimes they don't want to deal with that, because your child is not looking to them to be the hero.
Right. To be
They
the
have
hero.
they got fathers, they got uncles, they got people like you in their life that if you want to do something, if they want to do something instead of me, I don't know. Hey, call Kendrick. You want to do a YouTube show? Hey, call Kendrick. He knows, and that's a whole other reason why a lot of good kids, they don't get recruited, because they don't know what we're talking about. And they feel like, because sometimes the coaches will push some of the best athletes to, like, I don't want to play anymore, and it doesn't have anything to do with their skill, but it's just the egos.
That's an interesting topic that you brought that up, Lori. I may have to try to tackle that. About
you should.
That's a definitely one that I don't think no one has really tackled and really broke down. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Look, these right here, Kendrick, right? Let me say this. I have taught each of my children, whatever it is you want to do with your life, you don't ask people that's never done it. You seek out people who have been who live and operate and even play on the level at which you are trying to go. Because sometimes in education, if I went to a mediocre college, okay, and I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying I went to a mediocre college, but if I graduated from a mediocre college and I barely did just enough to get by, if I got a kid that's coming through that says, hey, I want to go to Harvard, Yale, UCLA, USC, Rice, any of those. If I'm not a solid adult, then when my child, when my student comes and they are already coming to me at a different higher academic level, I've got to be solid and secure in who I am. And I've taught my children that you don't sit up here, the people who flunked out of college, you don't ask, you ask them for worst case scenario. Though if you want to know what not to do, you go ask them. But for the people that are doing what you want to do or have done, you humble yourself and you go say to those people, hey, tell me what I need to do, what I need to work on. And that's what I'm saying, that a lot of times some parents, they don't think to tell their children that. So they're putting all their hope in the coaches. Again, I'm not saying there aren't good coaches out there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can't put your trust in them, because when these kids, this breed of kid now, when they go in here and they start Googling and Wikipedia and all that, they start doing those searches, and if they see that you never played sports, then when you start trying to tell them, you may be a good coach, but when you start trying to tell them, you're not going to be able to answer the questions that they have because you've never been on that level that they're trying to go. That's my point.
No, and that's a valid point. Now, the last question, then we're going to talk about your entrepreneur endeavor. Colleges that's on the list. What colleges are you guys looking at? Grant, what colleges are you interested in to take it to the next level?
I'd like to go to the West Coast, UCLA, USC, but staying in Texas isn't bad, Now I don't want to stay in Tyler. I don't want to go to no community college or UT.
But, I'm like, oh no.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah. There goes that scholarship.
I just heard that go right down the toilet, Grant. That's no, I'm just playing. But I understand you want to get out. You want to get out your comfort zone, because I can understand that. Staying here, that's your comfort zone. I think any athlete, I can see that. I can understand that. So, but yeah, okay. Well, we definitely rooting for you, young fella, and I believe it's gonna happen. We're gonna speak it into the atmosphere. We're speaking it into the universe. We're gonna see you playing soccer somewhere.
You know what, right. Kendrick?
Well, that's it, Nicholas, ladies and gentlemen. I
said Nicholas, our eldest, he'll be 30. I said he'll be 30 in August next month, and he started playing when he was about 5 and played all the way through. I have learned no rules. Okay.
I know, right?
I take, because I'm very competitive, hanging out with having older brothers and hanging out with y'all. I'm very competitive. I have to take a book. I have to take a needlepoint. I have to take something because I can't get involved. But yeah, we just trust God,
Speaking of what, that's a great segue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. For my business. Well, you know what? What do you want to know about my business, Kendrick?
That's a great segue, Lori.
Okay. Look, as soon as we start talking about my business, it starts buffering. Okay. As soon as we start talking about my business, it starts, you froze up, and come on now. This is by far the most important part. Yeah, so you are, it's still buffering.
You cut it out. Why?
Okay, I don't know what happened to you, Kendrick, but I see myself. I don't see you anymore. So I'm going to text you because it seems like you kind of froze. But here's the deal with my business. I am the owner operator of Clean Cotton Bespoke and Embroidery, located here in the beautiful city of Roses, Tyler, Texas. Pop back on, Kendrick. because it's no fun just sitting here talking about my business independent. Oh,
Oh
I need
boy.
I need a cheerleader. I need a hype person to talk. Like,
I need some bless oil for my Wi-Fi, Lori. I'm gonna have to come pick up some bless oil and put on this router because
okay,
it's
no,
about to make me lose my mind.
we speak it, Kendrick, over here. We speak it. You see, oh yeah, little faith. You put it out in the atmosphere now. You see, look
Well, anyway,
how much that all gonna run you? I said, like those old people, how much some all gonna run me?
give me one of them prayer cloths. Can I get one of them prayer cloths?
That could be a lucrative business.
Hey, you know how to make them. And speaking of which, let's get back to your new baby, because you birthing or you have birthed a new child. Let's
Kendrick,
talk about that.
I am successfully building a brand. And I didn't realize that's what I was actually doing until I went somewhere and this lady was carrying a tote. And I'm like, that's my tote. So I went up to her and I said, oh, I like your tote. And she said, yeah, it's a Lori. She said, it's a Lori bag. And I was like, a Lori bag? And she said, yeah, it's a Lori bag. Somebody gave it to me as a gift. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, well, what's so unique? I said, well, what's so unique about other than the colors? And the lady begins to tell me all of the positives about this simple little bag or tote. And she's like, I carry it everywhere. And when she finished, I said, well, you know what? I am the Lori. I said, I am the Lori with clean cotton. I said, if you look in your label, it's going to say clean cotton, bespoke, and embroidery. I'm the Lori that produced. I sewed that bag. I made that bag. So right now I'm in the process of probably having to change the logo, the name, because that's how people are for the totes. That's how people are now, that it has taken on its own identity. So after speaking to like professionals that are in the industry that I'm reaching out to, that I've reached out to, it once it starts to morph into something organically, you want to continue with the morphing. So I really I'm building a brand that at this point it has I'm on my second line or third line. So clean cotton bespoke and embroidery is the name of, like they say, everything, the umbrella. But from under the umbrella, I'm doing quilts, I'm doing totes and accessories. I'm doing just a lot of different other things. So yeah, it's interesting to see how it's growing organically. Yeah, so that's exciting.
And I am so happy for my sister. So you guys, y'all make sure y'all go like and follow Clean Cotton Bespoke and Embroidery on Facebook. The owner and proprietor is Lori Stimpson-Arteaga. And please patronize her business. I'm going to have to figure out, I'm going to have to get one of you to make a bag for me for my new grandson that's on the way, by the way.
Yeah.
So
okay, I will.
I'm going to have to hire you. Yeah.
Kendrick, before we go, I want to say this to the audience. About 10 or 15 years ago, Kendrick was my cameraman. Okay. And Kendrick would come to, because I also do a Bible study. So Kendrick, you remember you come to the house and you'd set up on Saturday mornings. And then if it was third Sunday, you'd come out to church and do remote. And I just remember, I saved, it's on my Facebook, my YouTube channel. I remember saying, I would say, Mr. Cameraman, and all they would hear was your voice. And I remember we did a show where I said, okay, Kendrick, all these ladies want to see the cameraman. So you came out, remember you were sitting at the table and we were just talking and you're like, okay, I got to get back. And do you remember I used to say, you should
Yeah.
do a show, you should do, and you're like, no, Lori, that's not what I do. And like now, you are
Yeah.
rocking and rolling,
Right.
dude. It's like it's natural. So yeah. So when the t-shirt comes, I too want a Kendrick the Sports Guy t-shirt. Okay. Or a Cam Newton cap.
And you know I got you. You know you know I got you. You going on this ride with me. You know, you been here from the beginning,
so,
you know. Yeah, so you
so
go on,
that's
I'm taking
funny.
you with me. You and my brother-in-law. Yeah, that is fun. I had totally forgot about that until you just mentioned that.
It's on YouTube. And was that your first? Because I think that was even before sport. What did you do? The other zone. You know?
Yeah, I don't think I was even doing. Was I doing it?
No, you weren't.
I don't think I was doing the red zone then.
Kendrick.
Yeah, that was before then. You're right.
Maybe I was speaking prophetically into your life, and you being a brother.
And you did, and
you hear what I said? And you being a brother doing what y'all do now to little sister or to sisters now. That you don't know what you're talking about. Now look at this. Look at this. You building a brand as well. So yeah.
I take
full responsibility. Yeah, well, thanks.
Again, you know when I'm up there accepting my award, you know, you going with me. I'm telling you on this ride with me to the wheels fall off.
Hold on.
You and brother.
I just read Kendrick.
You and my brother.
Kendrick. I'm gonna tell Fabian when I said I'm gonna tell Fabian when I click on. I saw that somebody settled the club. The club. Hey. I said, and you're up here talking about when I go on the stage, don't get up there acting crazy. Okay. Work all them kinks out now. So we don't have to see Kendrick the Sports Guy with all these settling in these.
You know I ain't gonna get up this show out. You know I ain't gonna do that. I'm not.
Because I'm gonna be sitting right on the TV looking like if I don't hear my name called. I'm being funny. Save the tickets. Look.
Hey, y'all.
Save the tickets for the kids, media family. Yeah. Kendrick, when we finish, hang up. I'm gonna call you because I want your thoughts on that settlement.
And you're gonna be texting me too.
Yeah, I want.
And you're gonna be texting me too. I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Be like Destiny's Child.
Anyway, I'm gonna let you go, my sister.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna let you go, my sister, so you can get back to that beautiful grandbaby.
Yes.
I ain't gonna hold you no more, but I want to appreciate you. And I want to have you back. Well, I'm gonna have you back again. We're gonna talk we're gonna talk sports. We're gonna talk about women in front of the camera in sports, because I know you probably have an opinion about that.
Here we and so it begins. But next time, my Cam Newton, I'm coming with. I don't care what you say. I'm coming with my Cam Newton hat and my scars. You're not gonna talk me out of it this time. Yeah.
All right. I got you. All right. Love you, sister. All right. Well, I'll holler. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that was one of my very best friends in the world, Lori Stimpson-Arteaga, giving us some information on team sports and the recruiting process, more specifically, the end of the sports like soccer and tennis and lacrosse, and the challenges that. So again, my Wi-Fi, I just wanted to show out. I don't know what the bug is. I gotta figure that out. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna keep rocking and rolling. Again, I'm Kendrick the Sports Guy. I want to thank those that watch this later. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, Kendrick Sports Hustle and TFG Sports Media on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow them both on Facebook. You can also follow my personal Facebook, Kendrick Roland Henderson, as well as you can follow me on Instagram at Kendrick Henderson 51. So again, you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.